Rita, what's up with you?
Man, I'm on the move, man. But I'm
I,
here.
s-
I'm
I
here.
see. Look like you in the airport.
No, my lady is addicted to Whole Foods and grocery shopping, so we at Whole Foods, man, waiting on the Uber so we can go home.
Oh, okay. So y'all got stuff to do today. That's what y'all doing.
Yeah, man, I've been working today. We did some filming for Comedy Hype today. So you know, I know it's the pandemic, but like things are still going well, so I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for those of you that don't know, this is Rita Brent from Comedy Hype. Rita, how you doing?
I'm good, bro. Thank you for the invite.
Nah, thank you for accepting it. Like I got hip to you a couple weeks ago. I'm like, yo, I gotta try to get her on, this show because I'm like, man, like your stuff is good for real.
Thank you. Thank you
So,
so much.
so real quick, like, what made you decide to get into comedy?
Uh, Well, it started back in 2013. Before I became a comedian, I was a musician. Hold on, man. Let me help my lady get this damn bag in. All right. Before I became a comedian, I was a musician. I've been playing music since I was a young girl. And Rita. And so I'd already been like in the entertainment industry,
Yeah.
but not comedy. You know what I'm saying? I thought that I wanted to do comedy, but I didn't think it was a way that I could make a living in Mississippi until 2013 when I saw some comedians performing and I got chills. I was like, yo, this is definitely what I want to do. Like God spoke to me and told me you can do this. And I listened, thankfully. And here we are 7 years later, you know.
In the 7 years of you being a comedian, what have been some of your best moments?
Best moments. Well, meeting Ricky Smiley was definitely one, and I
I
consider
love
him.
Ricky.
Ricky is a very good guy, off stage and on stage. So I've definitely enjoyed being on tour with him. He was the first one to take me out on tour. Um, so having him as a mentor, him teaching me how to navigate the industry has been a blessing. Performing with Cedric the Entertainer has been a big moment as well. You don't realize like how famous these guys are until you get out on the road with them and people losing their minds. So to be alongside the king of comedy, that's a blessing. Meeting Kevin Hart as well. I feel like I'm name dropping, but these people have really made a tremendous impact on me and helped advance my career. So meeting Kevin Hart as well, but just being on social media and being able to connect to people that you otherwise wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
That middleman is not so important anymore. So having that access to people and being able to go viral and build a brand, that's an amazing moment, amazing thing to me.
It does seem like it is pretty cool, especially with you getting a chance to open up for Ricky Smiley and then being on tour with one of the greatest comedians of all time. And said, what were some of the jewels that they dropped into your spirit that's made you say, you know what, I can really do this?
Well, Ricky, like when I first met him, the first thing he told me was, "Don't be drinking," because I had a little bottle of Jack Daniels behind me, and he's like, "You don't need that. Let all your laughs be natural. Let it be organic." And that was an invaluable thing because for me, I was thinking, all right, if I drink a little bit, I'll knock the edge off. But in all honesty, it didn't help. I was still nervous. I was still having to go to the bathroom 4 or 5 times before I got on stage. And I'm like, he's right. It's not helping. So all it was doing was impairing my judgment and making me forget my jokes. So, and Ricky taught me about language too, making sure that you're just not out here cussing just to be cussing. If it doesn't add to the joke or make it funnier, then do you really need it? So he made me second guess the way I write things, writing to be funny as opposed to trying to have shock value. You know what I'm saying? But as far as said, this has been an observational thing. Just seeing the confidence that he has and the way he carries himself, like he carries himself like a king,
Yeah.
and it makes me like, okay, this is how I want to carry myself as well. He has a lot of poise and a very strong presence about him that I appreciate.
I remember when he came to Cleveland and I did everything humanly possible to get an interview with said. and it just didn't happen. But I mean, hey, it didn't happen then. That doesn't mean it won't happen next time. You know, you just gotta keep
Yeah.
pushing. So like, what were some of the things that you had to push through in order to get to where you at?
Well, I think the biggest thing I have to push through, and I'm sure some other creatives would agree, is self doubt and
Yeah.
laziness. We are only as good as we push ourselves to be. So the constant struggle for me is to make sure I'm not procrastinating and being complacent, and always pushing to the next level. So that's something I'm always having to push through, and that's the self doubt and the procrastination and the laziness, and or trying to make things perfect, and then I'm not being consistent. So I'm trying to figure it out, because with social media, there's a grand opportunity here to use social media to capitalize, but you gotta do it and stop saying what you're gonna do and actually do it.
Yeah, because you got to put your money where your mouth is. And in a sense, that's what, all comedians, it seems like that's what they do. Who are some of the people that inspired you to do comedy?
I don't know. I think subconsciously, just watching Comic View growing up, I think that was an inspiration for me. Now looking back on it, Eddie Murphy, seeing him be amazing in all these movies, I'm like, I'm not the best actress right now, but
Yeah.
Eddie is a heck of an example. It's interesting. I was asked recently on Comedy Hype what was my comedy Mount Rushmore, and I did not list Eddie. And a lot of
Yeah, I
people,
saw that. I was like, ah, man, you ain't gonna put Eddie on there?
lost their minds, but it's like I was speaking in terms of stand up. So for stand up, no, Eddie is not on my list, even though his two stand up specials were amazing, Raw and Delirious. Uh, you know, Eddie is the king of comedic movies for me. But when I picked my stand up Mount Rushmore, and it's like, man, there's so many. I literally couldn't really honestly narrow it down to four.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking about people who had a direct impact on me. Ricky is on that list. Sad is on that list. Uh, it's a long ass list. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I respect Eddie, man. He's the goat.
Yeah, and the reason why I would still put him in the stand up all time is because he only did two, but one of them is still the highest grossing of all time.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean,
And
after
nobody
having
can
one,
take that away from him.
right? So I mean, he, in my opinion, I wish I would have loved to see him do a little bit more, but he got so tied up with doing his films, and he didn't really need to do stand up. But do you feel that most comedians should just transition into acting?
Well, it's a smart thing to do, especially on the money front. I think that was an amazing thing that Eddie did, because I know, like, when you look at somebody like Lorel, he had the breakthrough role in Get Out, and Tiffany Haddish had the breakthrough role in Girls Trip,
Girls Trip.
and their movies just shot up, and that now when they do stand up, now they're gonna be sold out, because people are able to say, "Hey, I saw them in the movie." So I think movies is an excellent way for you to get more exposure as a comedian. So then, when you are already funny on stage, you're just broadening your base. So I think it's a smart transition. But yeah.
Yeah, it does seem like it would be something that you would want to transition to. Speaking about that, how did you get on Comedy Hype?
So comedian Pierre, who's also on Comedy Hype, um, he saw me performing once in Nashville where D.L. Hughley passed out. At Zany's Comedy Club, that's where I first met Pierre. And he remembered me from then. And so he recommended me for the Comedy Hype gig, and that's how I got it. So shout out to Pierre for reaching down and giving back. That's what it takes from veterans in the game to see somebody young. Like, I think they have potential and then recommend them. So I appreciate that.
And I'm gonna give a shout out to my homegirl Symphony that actually works on Comedy Hype with you. Very good
Mm-hmm.
friend of mine, Symphony. It's nothing but love from here. I hope you watching this because a brother just gave you a shout out, but I'm gonna get back to doing my job. So you're on Comedy
Symphony's
Hype.
great.
It's Oh
Symphony's
yeah,
great. She has a beautiful spirit, professional, and love her.
she's an amazing person. Like, I met her a couple years ago. I was out covering the Stellars, and I met her out there. And even in that little interaction I had with her, she was just a genuine person, and we've been friends ever since. I'm thankful for it. And I'm glad that, y'all get a chance to even work on Comedy Hype together. Like, I feel like Comedy Hype for this generation has become kind of like the ESPN of comedy. Like, how does that make y'all feel?
Yeah, it's dope. It's a dope platform where you have black people talking about black things. I think we deserve a voice on these issues because so many times we are spoken for instead of being able to speak for ourselves. So I'm very excited about the Comedy Hype News Show because I get to tie in both of my loves, which are comedy and news and commentary. So I'm cool. So I'm thankful for being on the show. It's such a great balance too. You got two women, two men. Tiffany is young. I'm young, and I'm not the same component. Pierre are old, but they've been in the game a
They
little
a little
longer.
seasoned. They a
Yeah,
little seasoned now.
yeah. But I love that. I love getting the sprinkling of that seasoning because it helps me as well
Yeah.
as a youngin coming up in the game.
As a youngin coming up into the game and like you are working with people that are legendary, how often do you get a chance to pick their brain on things in comedy?
I get to pick Ricky's the most because he's the one I've been around the most.
Uh-huh.
Um, but all you have to do is listen. If you're the youngest person in the room, I've been doing comedy for 7 years. You got somebody like Ricky who's been doing it for 30. There's no reason that I should be running my damn mouth in the green room. So you don't even have to ask questions. If you just listen, you're going to learn. I think I heard Gary Owen say that before. So that's what I do when I'm in these spaces with veteran comedians. I just listen. If they ask me, I'll give them an answer. Otherwise, I'm not trying to steal the attention or impress because clearly they're already impressed. They put me on the show, so now it's time to listen and learn and apply.
This past week you guys had DeMarcus Cousins on. How much fun was that for you? Because both of y'all from down south, so how much fun was that for you to connect with him on Comedy Hype?
Oh, it was cool. It's always great to humanize a person because you look at them on the screen and there's this glorification that you feel like this person is a god. But he was real chill. He was real relatable and fun. I mean, I wish I could have seen him in person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always been a huge DeMarcus Cousins fan. I wish he would have stayed with the Warriors, but things changed very fast in the NBA. But I think he will be an asset wherever he goes because his game is so versatile.
I'm a Laker fan, so when I found out he was coming to us, I'm like, if Boogie could stay healthy, then it would be nice. But I mean, hey, that's just how the cookie.
Oh well.
I might say, yeah, that's just how the cookie crumbles. I mean, yeah, but God bless him, Boogie. I hope you watching this and call a brother back. Just putting a plug out there. But back to my show. So you're getting a chance now to do all of these comedic videos. The prayers, I think, are the funniest thing. It made my day. What made you decide to do that?
It's just like happenstance. In 2016, I was in Mississippi and it was hot, and I just started praying about the heat, and and people loved it. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just keep doing it. And so now I have a format now where I'll pray to a different Jesus and I'll address some kind of social issue in the prayer. So it's my way of being socially conscious, but in a funny way.
Yeah, like we all need something to laugh at. And I think the one that you just did was with Will and Jada. And I think something you said, I'm a paraphrase. I don't want to mess the joke up, but I believe it was something like, I'm just glad that the rich people let us broke people in on their lives or something. Like, how do you
Oh,
come up with stuff like that?
oh no, I said what they do with their rich lives is not my broke business. Uh, I mean, see, this is a problem for me when I say that I struggle to be consistent because I actually write some of my stuff. I think about what I'm gonna say ahead of time. So that takes time. I don't just be trying to, just put stuff out there without having some forethought. So yeah, I'll write. I'll have in mind what I'm gonna say before I get on. I edit my videos to make sure that it's strong before I put it out there because I'm just trying to put out a good quality product. But when I've gone on rants that were not scripted, they got a lot of views too. So that's a lesson to me to just do it. Don't try to be perfect with it.
Yeah, because you got to be authentic. That's what I do with my shows. Like my questions aren't scripted. It's just two people having a real convo. Just we got people tuned in. That's how I personally decide to. That's just how I do mine. I can't speak for everybody else.
Hmm.
Now that you're getting with Comedy Hype, when are you gonna, like, if it opens up, because comedy tours are still not necessarily open at the moment, not tours, comedies, like, what's the
Clubs.
word, clubs, right? So the comedy clubs are trying to open back up. In the event that they open back up, are you gonna go back on tour?
Yeah, so we had this conversation on Comedy Hype, and I was like, I'm a little afraid. I'm still afraid, but at the end of July 24th and 25th, I am going to be at the Comedy Junked Comedy Club in Memphis. My homegirl, Latoya Polk, just opened up her own comedy club. So for the culture, I'm like, I'm there, sis. So I'll be there. Now I will be sanitizing. I'm gonna have a mask on the mic. I think she has a mask on the mic as well. So I'm gonna be super careful and just try to do everything that I can to protect myself. But I mean, I ain't trying to forget how to do comedy. Like I haven't been on a real stage since March, and it's killing me.
Are you gonna be rusty?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been
And
doing shows on Zoom, but it's still not the same as being in front of a live audience, man. It's not the same.
yes, that's how I feel with doing my show. Like, it's nothing like getting a chance to sit down with somebody, having like a one-on-one convo with them. Cause like I could do stuff digitally all day, but it ain't nothing like physically being there and doing it. And this has been a lot of fun. I appreciate you taking this time out. Real quick, if anybody wanted to connect with you, how can they do that? And it sounds like somebody
Yeah.
getting chased by the cops right now as we speak.
No, man, it's New York. It's consistent sirens all day, every day. It's just the soundtrack of New York. Oh, so if you want to book me, Rita Brent Comedy at gmail.com. I do virtual shows. I'm doing shows in person as well with, sanitization policies in place, social distance things in place. So I'm not opposed to performing in person if it's safe. But I do a lot of stuff on Zoom, birthday parties, church gigs. So Rita Brent Comedy at gmail.com. I have a special out right now called Sip on This Tea. You can get it on Vimeo or you can get it on Apple Music. And I'm doing a virtual comedy special called Born Funny August 15th. So I'll be dropping that ticket link pretty soon as well. So just trying to stay busy out here in these pandemic streets, man.
I feel you. Well, Rita, thank you for taking this time out with us. We greatly appreciate, ladies and gentlemen, Rita on the Chris Gunther Show from Comedy Hype. Thank y'all. Rita, thank you for your time. I'll see y'all next time. I'm out.
Appreciate you.